Hey ladies and gentlemen, Wolfcrier here with yet another fun build guide based off of the Raymond Spirit Generator build. This build is a little different from my Firestorm Generator, although it uses the exact same gear, unless you are switching to a speed farming version, which I will give the alternates as we go. This build is definitely not a GR pushing build. You are not going to do into the 90s with this build. It's just a fun little build. If you do want an actual build for pushing higher GRs, you can check the description below. I will link both the normal Raymond Spirit Generator build, which is the tried and true build capable of pushing into the hundreds, and I will also link my Firestorm Generator build, which is a stronger variant of this build. Alright, so do you want to be a walking supercell thunderstorm with tornadoes and lightning? This is the build for you. It's a very fun build. I like running it. It does give movement speed buffs, which is really good for speed farming, etc. You do lose a massive amount of damage compared to the normal Raymond Generator build, but it's a fun build nonetheless. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and dive right into the gear. You are going to use the Royal Ring of Grandeur in your cube so that you can achieve a 6-piece Raymond of 1,000 Storms set and 2 pieces of your Sun Wukos set to give you the damage reduction bonus and to allow you to spawn your tornadoes. Okay, so your amulet is going to be a Sun Wukos. The rest of your gear, boots, legs, chest, helm, and shoulders, gloves are all going to be 5 pieces of Raymond and 1 piece on Wukos. You can pick whichever one you want. Let's start with the Sun Wukos amulet. You want crit damage, and you would prefer either, bonus to lightning damage, attack speed, crit damage. Those are the things you are definitely looking for. On all of your gear, you are looking for a secondary res, and obviously on your jewelry, you are looking for sockets as well. This kind of a crappy amulet, but it does its job, and it gives me my sweeping wind. Okay, so for helm, you are looking for dex, vite, crit chance. You want 6% crit chance, and obviously, again, you want a secondary resistance. Shoulders. What you are looking for here is dex, vite, resist all, and area damage as much as possible. I did not get a shoulders with area damage. I need the vite for my GR pushing. Otherwise, I would re-roll the vite for area damage on this build. But these are the same basic gear that I do use for my pushing of GRs, and I haven't found a better shoulders yet. On gloves, you are looking for preferably a quad with area damage, crit chance, crit damage, and attack speed. But these are pretty decent gloves with the 930 dex, a secondary res of 210, which is awesome. But that's pretty much basically what you're looking for. Crit chance, crit damage, area damage are key, and if you can get attack speed on them as well, that would be ideal. Okay? For your chest, dex, vite, some other defensive stat, whether it be armor, regen, or reduction of damage from elites would be ideal. Okay, you're going to socket them with diamonds if you're having problems, and emeralds if you need more damage. But I use this gear for my GR pushing, so that's why I have diamonds in them. Okay, for your pants, you are looking for dex, vite, and way of 100 fist damage. Like I said, this is the same exact gear. I do use crippling wave when it comes to my GR pushing, so that's why these have stayed that. I do not plan on re-rolling them for that. On your boots, you are looking for dex, vite, armor's fine, or regen, and however much movement speed you can get with the secondary res. Okay, so that's your basic set pieces for those. For your set weapons, you are using your Shenlong's Fist of Legend and your Shenlong's Relentless Assault. What you want on these is dex, area damage, and Vitality's really good. Life per hit's really good. Cooldown's okay. Other than that, that's pretty much all you need for these. You also want a secondary of plus maximum spirit as high as you can get. I believe they go to 15, so the closer you get to 15, the better. That's going to increase your overall damage because you are still a Raiment Generator build, so your generator does the most damage. Now, moving on to your belt. You are looking for Kayashiro Soul. You do want an Ancient if possible. Secondary Res. You want Dex, Vite, and then other defensive, whether it's armor, life, regen, and obviously you want the max to sweeping wind damage. Because it's a Kayashiro Soul, you cannot get plus to your generator on it because it's meant for the sweeping wind damage. But that's okay because this is meant to be a fun build. For your rings, Convention of Elements is really good, and Unity. What you're looking for on these are crit chance, crit damage, and if possible area damage or attack speed as well, with secondary res as long as you can get them. Now, these, you can replace these with your focus and restraint. That is not a bad deal for this, especially since you're only doing 60 to 65s on a normal basis, or even lower if you want to do speeds. The other ring that you could swap out for the Unity is a Weird Ward, which gives you 35% chance to stun when doing lightning damage. And with this build, that is all you are doing. Okay, while we're over on this side, we're going to look at our cube. And we've got Depth Diggers. Primary skills that generate resource, deal 100% additional damage. Your major attack is your generator. It's your way of 100 fists. And you are also going to use Flying Dragon for the attack speed proc. It'll double your attack speed. You'll deal even more damage. Back onto your rings. If you were speed farming with this build, you can swap out Unity for an Avarice Band and swap out your Stricken for a Boon of the Hoarder. This will give you more pickup radius and more movement speed. This build excels at giving you movement speed, so it's very decent at running T9, T10 riffs very fast because your movement speed goes through the roof with this build thanks to your gems. So on to your gems. I use Stricken. You can use Boon of the Hoarder if you're not having any issues, etc. I use Stricken just because that's my gem that's leveled up, etc. Wreath of Lightning. This is your bread and butter of this build. This is what causes your lightning storm that goes with this. Okay, 15% chance on hit to gain a Wreath of Lightning, dealing damage to all enemies around you pretty much. Sends out bolts of lightning everywhere. While you're under this effect, once this is ranked 25, you gain 25% increased movement speed, which is pretty awesome for movement speed. Simplicity Strength, because your generators are still the most damage you are doing. As much as you like the Wreath of Lightning and the tornadoes, your main damage definitely still comes from your Way of 100 Fists. The other piece of gear that I forgot is your Spirit Guards. You want lightning damage if you're going this build, Dex, Vite, and 6% crit with a secondary res. These will help mitigate some damage taken by you. The other thing you can run with this if you're doing speeds is Nemesis Bracers. So if you're doing speed runs, Nemesis Bracers, Avarice Band, those two will definitely help you out with the Boon of the Hoarder in place of the Stricken. You'll be moving wicked fast all the time. Okay? Now, to dive into the skills. I am using Epiphany, Desert Shroud. Now this is going to reduce the damage taken and help you a little bit with your spirit regen, but when you reach the cap because of your Shenlongs, this is negated anyways. You do not gain any spirit regen while it is dropping other than from your generators. Number 2, Dashing Strike, Radiance. If you were doing speeds, change the Radiance to Way of the Falling Star. If you don't need the damage, like if you're doing T9 or T10 speed runs, pick up the more movement speed. 20% more movement speed every time you Dashing Strike for 4 seconds, and you do Dashing Strike a lot. You are going to have massive speed when using this as a speed run. But I use Radiance for the attack speed while I'm doing 65 to 70. And there you go on that. Next one, Sweeping Wind Cyclone. This is what gives you your little tornadoes. Okay, while your vortex is at 3 or more stacks, critical strikes have a chance to spawn a lightning tornado that periodically damages enemies for 95% weapon damage. You are going to release a ton of these because you are constantly going to have 3 stacks because you're a generator build. You're always in there. You're not going to drop stacks unless you are running through mobs and not hitting anything at all. But for the most part, you're just going to be spawning a ton of these tornadoes, 12 to 15 at a time usually. Okay. Next, you are going to run Mantra of Salvation with agility for the defense. If you wanted even more speed and you don't need the defense, you can go Mantra of Conviction, Annihilation, 30% movement speed. Each time you kill an enemy that is affected by your mantra, which is all the time because you are constantly in things' faces and you are just ripping through it with this build. So this is going to grant you even more movement speed. I am not sure at which point you cap at movement speed. So some of these are going to be very redundant and unnecessary. But that is yet another way to increase your movement speed when you are speed farming with this build. Okay, your basic attack is going to be Way of the 100 Fists. This is a lightning damage skill, 423% weapon damage with the second strike. It's your bread and butter. You can use static charge, but I do find that Hands of Lightning is the better choice and deals more overall damage. You are also going to use Breath of Heaven infused with light for the spirit gen and to keep your spirit max so that your Shenlongs can do what they do, which is rip things apart when you are at full spirit. Now for your passive skills. You're using Seize the Initiative. Dealing damage to enemies above 75% gives you 30% more attack speed for 4 seconds. You're using Beacon of Yitai. Reduce all cooldowns by 20%. Agility, increase the attack speed of your spirit generators by 15%, and Harmony, 40% of your single element resistances from items are instead used to increase your resist all. Now, with the speed run, fleet-footed, not a bad idea. So, if you are looking to add even more speed, you can change out Harmony for fleet-footed if you are not having that much problem taking the damage because you are doing lower GRs. So that is your skills, guys. Let's take a look at your Paragon. You're going to start off by capping your movement speed and then capping your max spirit. More spirit equals more damage thanks to the Shenlong set. Okay, and then nothing but dex. Offense, you are looking for attack speed, crit chance, crit damage, then cooldown. Defense, you are looking for resist all, life, armor, and then regen. On your utility, you are going area damage first, life per hit second, and then resource cost reduction and gold find. Those two are pretty much even as far as the fact that you are not going to be needing the resource cost reduction that much simply because you aren't using Cyclone Strike with this build. You do use your Dashing Strike, so this could help a little bit with that, but for the most part you don't really need it. Now for your Templar, he is going to obviously need a Follower Cannot Die relic and then he is going to use Thunder Fury for even more lightning damage, and Oculus Ring and Unity. Obviously, if you switch out your Unity, he can wear Weird Ward as well for even more stun chance. For his amulet, as of Johan, because you don't have Cyclone Strike, you're going to want somebody to have it. This will give your Templar Cyclone Strike pretty much. He'll be able to pull things into a neat little pile. You can jump in and wreck it really fast. And for his shield, Freeze of Deflection. This will allow him to freeze things whenever he blocks an attack. So, there you guys have that build. Hopefully, you get some enjoyment out of it. I really like running it. It's a fun little build. I'm not pushing with it, obviously, so don't think that I think this is better than any of the Raiment Generator builds out there, because I don't. I just find it a fun little build that allows you to be a walking thunderstorm. Definitely look in the description below. You can find my normal, everyday Raiment Spirit Generator build, as well as my Firestorm build, which is the one that I actually used to push the leaderboards. I was on it, now I fell off. But I have seen video of one of my subscribers doing a 91. We'll link that as well in the description below. So, definitely, guys, let me know in the comments what you think of this build. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and thank you guys very much. Also, in the description below, I will also link the full gameplay to my Thunderstorm video. And thank you guys very much. Peace.